in his new opening lead-off spot for Immortals, the God RF, and number 2, Lapicati as the final man on tower for King of the Hill.
Yeah, this is a big moment for Immortals. They've proven before that they get into that playoff spot, they always got a chance. They've just never been this far down.
It would be curious to see how they fare in that big run up.
And Juicy J, the WCG champion of 2019, having struggles here at CRL. Yet to find his first head-to-head victory, but he did pick up 5 game wins and 2 sets in 2v2.
Oh, one of the things we speculated about was Juicy J being paired with the right analyst, and you know, he and trainer Dip had a great success as a team throughout their WCG run. Gotta wonder if he's found the same synergy with someone. It seems like he hasn't so far here at CRL.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm just gonna call it how I call it, and hopefully I don't offend too many people out there, but that was WCG and this is CRL, and there's a lot of higher caliber talent that have fought their ways to be on these teams. It's no slight against the great players there like FMGG and Franco, but they're not quite Immortals.
Lava Pups get some more damage on tower on a 1451. Juicy J going Lava Hound against Royal. Royal has been known to pull out Lava Hound when he feels pressure. Is he not doing that in this case?
Yeah, there's a lot of trust that goes on in the squad of Immortals, and Trainer Luis, he will defer to his players a good amount of times, but sometimes he puts his foot down, and I'm thinking that what you're talking about is definitely a situation where that's when you need the coach to step in and say, we got to change things up.
And Juicy J continuing to add to that lead as we move into double elixir time. 965 on Royal's right-hand tower, but now a very inexpensive graveyard push immediately met by a Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie plus Miner. Poison is out of cycle, but still very nicely defended by Juicy.
And now Lava Hound with Valk Miner in support. Valkyrie we've seen now a couple times with Lava Hound because of that ability to help if you are against wall breakers.
And the high poison from Royal somewhat paying off, but nothing there to stop those pups.
Down to 153 within poison range.
And that was a really nice zap from Juicy J, demanding a little bit more out of Royal to play clean defense, and he's not going to be able.
Poison comes down on defense. Juicy J cleans it up and takes his first head-to-head win in CRL, and a big one over Royal.
Yeah, Royal now falling to 3-9 in head-to-head play this season. He's still done very well in 1v1 at 4-2 and 2-1 in sets, but just not able to get it done in King of the Hill. RF up next to 6-9, and only 2 more games, maybe, potentially, standing in the way of Immortals and playoff elimination.
Yeah, still have to wait to see what Pain does, but Immortals doesn't want to give them that option. Do not let someone else decide your fate. Right now, Juicy J holds the power in his hands. Let's see if he can do it one more time against RF in Game 2. As we mentioned before, the God RF swept Misfits last time around. His team's hoping he can go out and get at least one, hopefully more. And you can see Immortals just stressed out on their bench.
Yeah, Lapicati already had his face in his hands, maybe looking to try to focus up before what could be a huge King of the Hill moment for him and his squad.
It's so strange. Pressure does not seem to have been a problem for them that heavily in the past, but this season, something has simply been different.
Maybe looking like some 2.9.
And has to fireball onto the wall breakers, a -2 trade for RF. Juicy J going firmly new meta.
And with Juicy leaking 1.5 elixir, it kind of narrows that elixir gap by just a tad.
And there you go, first Expo down. Be curious to see how Expo fares against this deck.
Yeah, well, the one thing we've noticed with a lot of these quick cycle wall breakers deck is we're not seeing a lot of big spells. So the defensive Expos could be very, very frustrating to deal with.
And you see, picking up that bar barrel fairly easily and just everything going to that Expo.
Yep, and that's what Juicy has to do. He knows that if there's just healthy Expos on the board, he's never going to be able to break through the way that he wants to.
And this deck, I mean, not knowing what the rest of this deck is for sure, doesn't have a lot of great ways to pick up Expo damage if it gets dropped at the bridge. And so far, RF doing a great job just managing the game.
And this is what the battle is going to be through single elixir time. Now on to double elixir. You see Juicy go right for the tower, and you have to imagine RF is going to gear up for, well, there you go.
And Mega Knight, so that's going to do a lot for Juicy J.
But again, that healthy Expo, now you've got 2 Expos and a Tesla, and they just cut through that Mega Knight. And that's going to be a lock.
And that's a big-time lock with the Archers as well. Going to get a couple shots down to 16-11, and another Expo down for God RF.
So RF probably going to try this out, see how he fares, and then depending on how this exchange goes, might go back to defensive Expos.
Bar Barrel gets through. Log trying to support. This Expo will go down.
And maybe a Tesla finally? No. Ooh.
And that's the hard part. So much spent defending against the Bar Barrel Mega Knight together. Do you have the correct pieces and the elixir to deal with those wall breakers?
And again, this is what he has to do. He has to have defensive Expos on the board. It's the only true way for him to cut through the Mega Knights as efficiently as he needs to get another tower lock.
Look at this Expo and Tesla set up on the defensive side, taking no risks at the moment is RF.
Yeah, I mean, in a normal game or in a different meta, this would have seemed crazy to give that much spell value, but obviously not worried about big spells coming in and able to kind of turtle up is RF.
And here we go, Expo, offensive.
And that's tough for Juicy because he knows that that other Expo is alive, but he has to drop 7 elixir, all the elixir he had at the time, to stop this Expo.
Mega Knight Bar Barrel, 2 cards that really create trouble for Expo, and you're seeing Juicy use them well here.
So despite having a healthy Tesla, he still knows that the defensive Expo is the only way he's ever broken through in the past.
You gotta wonder, at some point, does RF switch to trying to get spell cycle damage and just play strong defense?
I really think so. Honestly, I think maybe after one more offensive Expo, depending on how it fares, he has to start focusing on that.
He has to do it before he falls too far behind as well, because now 600 HP difference. This is the opportunity, and Mega Knight does get down. Juicy J playing very well.
Yeah, Juicy J really, really managing this game about as best as he can. RF trying to decide what he wants to do.
I bet you he goes for fireball damage here.
Yeah,
there you go.
have to. And I think he turtles up. I think he turtles up, tries to spell cycle out, and he just hopes for the best. Needs to make sure that he's got an additional building in hand for when those wall breakers come through behind the Mega Knight.
And it works out well for him. Miner getting picked up, so that actually was a nice exchange for RF. Gets damage onto the tower, so things getting much closer in this final minute.
Saw him fireball those wall breakers, so not able to fireball again. Going to take some log value where he can, and a nice pickup with those archers.
A big-time pickup. Ice Golem to help out as well, just keeping everything off the tower that he can. RF now suddenly in a spot where he can just play some defense and try to get a lot of spell damage on that tower.
I mean, he gets one fireball down. I believe he's up by 1 HP.
You see that Fisherman being played high. Fireball had to be played defensively.
And that is not what you want to do. The Ice Golem's stuck behind the tower, and RF may have just thrown the game.
Oh, that is brutal. A great play by RF overall. Juicy J keeps the pressure on, and that's going to be it. Juicy J takes out 2 members of Immortals and is 1 away from a King of the Hill sweep to close this fall season.
And you saw the panic mode set in, the fireball high, the ice golem behind. Honestly, you swap those 2 around, you might have a better outcome, but that's neither here nor there. RF down, Royal down, Lapakati up. He's got to win 3 in a row and then 2 more if he goes to the 1v1 set. And Immortals looking like they are in a lot of trouble.
They are really struggling right now, Andrew, and no one can figure out precisely why. We've spoken with Luis a little bit, and he's not entirely sure what the challenges are that they're trying to work through, and now it's all on the shoulders of Lapakati, who's been here so many times before, but never has it felt like this much was on the line.
And they've had 10 King of the Hill sets played and only 3 victories out of it. 2 of them have come from Lapakati, 2 from Royal. And this is just a crazy situation. Excuse me, 2 from Lapakati, 1 from Royal. Lapo up next.
Lapakati needs to get 3 in a row. And then, of course, it'll be either Lapo or Royal in the 1v1 if we get there. But first, got to stop Juicy J, currently on a 2-game win streak.
Yeah, I'm looking to even up his record at 3-3 if he takes this game. And, of course, you know, getting a King of the Hill sweep over Immortals would be excellent for him in a season that he's somewhat struggled in head-to-head play.
1 wall breaker connects right-hand side. Lapo choosing to open with the split wall breakers, and it's Golem for Juicy J.
Yeah, Golem Nightwitch very, very early on, and the Nightwitch actually sneaks in front for the moment.
Golem not very popular for a while, but the little buff to the Nightwitch seems to have given some life back into the giant pile of rocks.
Yeah, and that is just a very interesting early, high, aggressive Golem. The Nightwitch sneaks in front. You're picked apart with the Inferno Dragon, and kind of a surprising first endeavor there from the Misfits representative.
So Lapakati going fast with the Wall Breakers deck. Inferno Dragon will be a nice counter to that Golem, as we saw.
And if I'm not mistaken, this deck, I believe, usually has the Mega Knight in the last card, but, you know, can always put the Witch in there too, 'cause she goes everywhere, right?
Yeah, I saw a Witch at the DMV. I don't know why she was there. She didn't have a car.
She's there to hang out with you, man.
Inferno Dragon down in the back for Lapakati.
And it is the Mega Knight.
And Mega Knight will provide some nice cover for this Inferno Dragon for a moment. Maybe that's the idea. Inferno still does survive, so a one-shot Inferno Dragon.
And a really nice counter push coming in here. Very well played.
And 1 wall breaker connects.
Lapo throwing on the BM just a little bit. Juicy not pulling the trigger on the Golem.
And a little surprised, Juicy J today has shown a couple of like 1.0 or old school Clash Royale decks. We did just see the wall breakers from him, but
yeah, I mean, this is a pretty traditional Golem deck that was very popular for a while. And Lapo not wanting to try to create a presence in the opposite lane just because 498 is such a great amount of damage to have worked on. You can't really switch last minute against the Golem at this point.
Lightning comes in. That's a big time lightning. Baby Dragon gets on tower.
And doing a great job with his Nados Plus to stop these wall breakers from breaking through, and Juicy J knows it's over.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Poison takes care of business. Lapakati comes out and gets the first of a needed 3 in this King of the Hill set, but Juicy J came out and did the important part, got 2 wins and put his team in position to close this out with either Wings or Baron.
And you see everyone on that Immortals bench dialed in. They know that that's just the first game, as you said, of 3 that they need just to get it to that 1v1 set. So Trainer Luis trying to keep everyone focused. Lapacati seems dialed in at the moment. Yeah, pretty nice matchup there. We'll see how his second game fares against Wings, who is 6-8, King of the Hill, and definitely capable of taking down the young Belarusian.
See AC and Trainer Luis conferring with the young star, trying to get him ready for the veteran Wings in his 3rd season lifetime King of the Hill record of 29-17.
So here we go, Wings and Lapacati. Lapa with everything on the line. Wings just in another one of his favorite games and his favorite set.
Wings, of course, pulled out some fancy stuff in the final match of last season without stuff on the line, and of course that was the wall breakers. Not the wall breakers, sorry, the E-barbs. Yeah. And we'll see if he does something similarly fancy this time out. And so far, one thing I like that we're seeing from Lapacati in this second game, not playing Mortar, although it is feeling like it might be a siege deck.
Yeah, interesting start here so far. We've seen Lapo rocket with spell damage in the past and tries to get some early on that witch.
And this Royal Giant's going to do some damage on that right-hand tower. Should get at least 2, maybe 3 shots. And Log comes down to stop that noise.
So Lapacati going with another deck that's been tried and true, but has not had quite the same success as its partner, 2.9. Or counterpart, I should say.
Interesting to see Immortals go with Expo decks twice in this same match. Gotta wonder if they feel like there's something about the current meta that Expo performs well against.
And you know, in that first game with RF, really did feel like he had it locked away for a moment there, and a couple misplays, the fireball, the ice golem, and Juicy J's persistence really paid off.
You know, you wonder if it's a meta where there's a lot of people running no big spell, or at least a significant number running no big spell, and that's leading to, as you pointed out, some more viability for defensive expos.
And Lapo's been a big fan of the Ice Wizard. I mean, he's one of the players that's used it probably the most here in this season.
And another defensive expo down for Lapacati. But a lot on both sides.
Yeah, really nice dual lane pressure here coming in from Wings. And again, this is a win, a must win for Lapacati.
And just defensive expos all day. Gotta wonder if he's gonna try to steal this with rocket value.
And that Fisherman already planted in place. So finally an Expo survives with a little bit of HP.
And Lapacati's hoping for one swipe, does not get it. Wings not over pressuring either. We've had a couple moments of dual lane pressure, and here we are, but has not been caught without yet.
I mean, because we've all been there, right? You overcommit against an Expo deck, they play somehow stellar defense, and all of a sudden you're in a massive hole, and Expo locks on, and Wings definitely does not want that to happen right now.
And that's the hard part for Lapacati, trying to get this Expo to play proper defense, but the Royal Giant, more than anything, is acting as a tank and a distractor for that Expo, letting other cards get in and do the damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing such a great job heating up this dual lane pressure. Wings has. And you see right now, again, Fisherman coming through on the left-hand side. It's going to demand something.
Expo down, so this feeling like it might be the moment, but Royal Giant again for Wings. This deck getting around more quickly than maybe Lapicati anticipated.
Yeah, and that log comes down. Fisherman still gets a couple hits in. Tower below 900 on the left-hand side, and this is just looking really, really rough for Immortals.
Yeah, it feels a lot like game over right here, unless Lapicati can pull off something insane.
I mean, between the Valkyrie and the Royal Giant, you get a little buffer there with the Skellies, Fisherman if you need. There's just so many tanks on the ground for these Expos. You can't cycle rockets. You really can't do anything.
And not able to protect the Ice Wizard for a second time.
And it's starting to look like Immortals is no longer going to be in control of their fate moving forward into the postseason.
Royal Giant, left-hand lane. Ice Wizard trying to slow down. Fireball going to be in.
And that should really do it. Tower should not fall quite yet, but how can you mount an offense with 4 elixir and 30 seconds?
You can't, not when your opponent has 9, and Lapicati giving the well played. And going out with a whimper rather than a bang right now is Immortals, and they have to just sit back and wait and hope that Pain Gaming can't take a win over Complexity, which a lot of teams have done this season.
Yeah, that's a very nice way of putting it. And there you go, Lapicati falls. You can tell he's very disappointed with himself, and that was a very, very rough matchup for Lapicati to come out on top of. He was able to take down Juicy J, but once again, the King of the Hill woes continue for Immortals, and that's going to do it for them here in the regular season. And as you've been mentioning, it's all up to Pain Gaming now to decide what happened to the boys in blue here, and you can tell they're not. Trainer Luis is